So what really makes a master strategist? Is it that raw gut instinct to survive when everything's on the line? Or maybe the incredible emotional discipline of a world leader? The sneaky cunning of a secret informant? Or is it something we can actually engineer into a machine now? Today, we are diving deep into the art of high-stakes strategy, all the way from these incredibly human moments to the absolute cutting edge of artificial intelligence. Let's get into it.
Our journey is going to start somewhere pretty intense. Not in the boardroom, not in the lab, but on a dark road just outside of Paris. It's a story of survival against, well, impossible odds. This is where strategy gets boiled down to its most basic, most essential form: just staying alive.
Okay, so try to picture this. It's just after 8 p.m. French President Charles de Gaulle and his wife are in their car, a Citroën DS, on their way to an airfield. And then, out of nowhere, the quiet evening just explodes with the sound of automatic gunfire. An assassination squad has just sprung a trap. And the sheer scale of this attack, it was just staggering. The squad, they were part of a group called the OAS that was furious about de Gaulle's policies in Algeria. They fired 187 rounds at the convoy. I mean, this wasn't a warning shot. This was a meticulously planned, overwhelming assault. And yet, out of all that chaos, can you believe it? Only 14 bullets actually struck the president's car. 2 of the tires were completely shot out. The car skidded across the wet pavement. But the driver, I mean, what a hero, showed incredible skill and just sped away. Amazingly, no one inside was hurt at all.
So when he finally arrives at the airfield, de Gaulle, who's always the stoic leader, just casually remarks, "This time it was close." I mean, wow. This incredible event, this razor-thin margin between life and death, it really forces you to ask, what separates a successful strategy from a total failure? In this case, sure, it was a skilled driver, a well-built car, and, a whole lot of luck. But strategy is rarely just left to chance. It requires a completely different kind of resilience, not of the body, but of the mind.
Okay, so from that raw physical survival instinct, we're now going to shift to the mind. How does a leader deal with conflict, not with speed and evasion, but with incredible patience and deep psychological insight? Well, for that, we have to turn to one of the greatest negotiators of the 20th century, Nelson Mandela.
This quote right here, it is the absolute key to understanding Mandela's genius. I mean, think about it. After 27 years in prison, he had every single reason to hate his captors, to hate the architects of apartheid. But he knew, he understood that hatred was a strategic liability. He had to treat his own emotions like a variable he had to control.
And this is the skill he just perfected. He called it emotional intelligence. And look, this wasn't about being soft or nice, no way. This was about being incredibly smart. He taught himself to understand his opponent's deepest fears, their insecurities, not so he could mock them, but so he could use that understanding to totally dismantle their resistance.
And this is just a brilliant example of his method in action. So take his rival, Mangosuthu Buthelezi. Other leaders just called him a monster. But Mandela, he recognized his deep insecurity, this feeling of being overshadowed by the Zulu king. So what did he do? He validated those feelings, he brought Buthelezi into his government, and as one biographer put it, he chose to love him into acquiescence. It was genius. He turned a violent rival into a cooperative partner.
And this is what really made Mandela a true pragmatist. For him, even a principle as powerful as nonviolence was, at the end of the day, a tool. It was a strategy. He once said there's no moral goodness in using an ineffective weapon. His one and only goal was dismantling apartheid, and he was willing to adapt his strategy, his actions, whatever it took to achieve that goal. It was always about action over ideology.
Okay, so we've seen physical resilience and emotional mastery. Now let's explore a third crucial pillar of strategy: information. Specifically, the incredible power that comes from knowing something that nobody else knows. And for this, we're going to the heart of one of America's biggest political scandals, Watergate.
This man is Mark Felt. Now, to the world, he was the #2 guy at the FBI. But to Washington Post reporter Bob Woodward, he was known only as Deep Throat, probably the most famous anonymous source in all of history. His position gave him access to the deepest, darkest secrets of the investigation into the Nixon administration.
I mean, the way they did this stuff, it was straight out of a spy novel. This wasn't just a simple phone call. To signal that he needed a meeting, Feld would actually mark a page in Woodward's newspaper. They'd meet in the dead of night in an underground parking garage. The sheer risk, the secrecy, it just shows you how explosive the information they were exchanging really was.
In the end, Felt's secret information became the weapon. It didn't fire any bullets, it didn't persuade rivals with empathy. What it did was guide the journalists. It confirmed their reporting and gave them the roadmap that allowed them to connect all the dots, exposing a conspiracy that went all the way up to the Oval Office. So we've got survival instinct, we have emotional intelligence, and the control of information. For centuries, right, these have been uniquely human skills. But what happens when we start teaching them to machines? Well, welcome to the new frontier of strategy.
And this is the big question that's driving so much innovation today, isn't it? Can we really replicate these complex, nuanced human abilities inside a piece of artificial intelligence? Well, the answer, it turns out, is a lot closer than you might think.
So let's just draw the parallels here. Think about Mark Felt's role as an informant, right? Providing that critical piece of knowledge. Well, that's now what we're seeing with AI as a researcher, something that can sift through billions of data points to find that one crucial insight. And Mandela's incredible ability to understand and guide others, that's now emerging in AI as a coach, an assistant that can literally give you real-time strategic advice during a negotiation.
And listen, this isn't just some sci-fi theory. This is happening right now. Experts at Harvard's program on negotiation are already defining these roles. AI is being built not just to research and coach, but to actually act as a direct negotiator or as an impartial mediator in all kinds of disputes. This toolkit is being built and tested as we speak.
So, as these unbelievably powerful tools become more and more a part of our world, you have to ask, what does that mean for the future of human strategy and our own decision-making? I mean, what's our role in all of this?
Think about the journey we've just been on. We've traced the art of strategy through some of its most dramatic forms. We started with the primal will to survive in de Gaulle's car. We moved to the incredible emotional discipline of Mandela. We saw the raw power of secret information with Deep Throat. And now, finally, we've arrived at the dawn of the AI strategist.
Which brings us to our final and maybe the most critical question. When we're faced with an AI that can analyze data perfectly, calculate odds flawlessly, and maybe even simulate empathy, what becomes the uniquely human advantage? What's our greatest strength? Is it creativity, morality, our ability to just take a leap of faith? That is the strategic question we all have to start answering.